Ooh, let's do something exciting. Let's learn about what happens when we're using the passé composé with a verb that's in the maison d'être, but you have a direct object. Consider these sentences. Sarah est sortie. Philippe et Gaston sont montés. Nous sommes rentrés. Each of these takes être, and because it takes être, we have agreement in number and gender. Sarah is feminine, so we added an E. Philippe et Gaston is masculine, plural, so we added an S. Nous sommes rentrés, we added an S. If it was two females, we could have added an ES. Look what happens when there is a direct object. Look at the bottom half. Sarah a sorti la poubelle. Philippe et Gaston ont monté les valises. Nous avons rentré les jouets. In each of these sentences, we have added a direct object. Because we have added a direct object, we are using avoir instead of être. Before we said Sarah est sortie, now it's Sarah a sorti la poubelle. Because we used avoir, there is no longer agreement in number and gender. Sarah est sortie with an extra E. Sarah a sorti. We're using avoir, and therefore there is no agreement in number and gender. When there is a direct object, you no longer use être, you use avoir, and we need to write in there is no agreement in number and gender. All of this is true unless it's a pronominal verb, but we'll get to that in a minute. The meaning of the verb might change a little bit. So, Sarah est sortie, Sarah went out. But Sarah a sorti la poubelle, Sarah took out the trash can. Philippe et Gaston sont montés, but Philippe et Gaston brought the suitcases up. Philippe et Gaston ont monté les valises. Philippe et Gaston brought the suitcases up. Here it's they went up. Here it's they brought the suitcases up. Nous sommes rentrés. We came back in or we came back home. Nous avons rentré les jouets. We brought the toys back in. So here it's we came back in or we went home, we went back in. Here it's we brought the toys back in. To recap, with all être verbs except pronominals, if you have a direct object, you use avoir. And there is no agreement in number and gender because you used avoir. For example, Daniel est descendu. Daniel went downstairs. We added an E because Daniel is feminine. But we're going to add a direct object, and we have Daniel a descendu les chaussures. Les chaussures is a direct object. Daniel brought down the shoes. We used avoir, and there's no agreement. Elles sont sorties. They went out. Les sorcières ont sorti leurs baguettes. The witches got out their wands. Because we have a direct object, we used avoir, and there is no agreement in number and gender. With pronominal verbs, however, you always use être with those. If there is a direct object, you still have to use être, but there is no agreement in number and gender. Mathilde s'est brossée. Mathilde brushed herself off. Mathilde s'est brossé les dents. Mathilde brushed her teeth. We have a direct object here. We're still using être, but there's no agreement in number and gender. Simone et Colette se sont maquillées. Simone and Colette put on makeup. Simone et Colette se sont maquillées les yeux. They put makeup on their eyes. We have a direct object. It's a pronominal verb, so we're still using être, but there's no agreement in number and gender. La fin. Oops.